Hi everybody, welcome to, sorry as I adjust you. Hey everybody, welcome to day number 31 of Project 365. Yeah, technically this will be the first completed month of the project. Awesome, because I technically don't count February as a month, even though it is a month, because it only has 28 days. And the average month, I believe, there's 6 months that have 31 days. Anyway, today, I'm going to be bringing you my top 10 list of favorite movies. So, let's get this started. Number 10 is the Shrek series. Now I know that doesn't count as one movie, but I really couldn't pick between them which was my more favorite, so I just went ahead and put the whole series. Particularly I find Shrek funny just because it actually has a lot of adult humor for those who can actually notice it and pick up the nuance in it, and then for those who can't, there's just really the campy sort of, oh, he made a funny sort of stuff. But like, there's just all of this sexual innuendo throughout the whole film, and it's very adult at the same time as being very childish, and so that's what I love about it. Number 9 is Akira. It's a anime movie, obviously from Japan. Oh, actually, is it from Japan? I don't know. I should look that up as I continue talking about the film. But no, Akira was the first anime film that I watched, and yeah. Okay, so it's a film. It was a film made in 1988. It was a hit manga, apparently. It follows Neo Tokyo in the year 2019. Essentially, it's just a really good movie. It really got me into anime in general. So from this, I followed on to very like action animes and stuff like that, and then I went into the more plot-driven animes like Death Note, for example. So yeah. Like I said, it's a really good anime, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it because it is actually really good. Anyway, number 8 is The Devil's Rejects, actually. I know I gave Rob Zombie some crap about his remakes, his Halloween remakes, but in terms of movies that he's done well, both House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects are really good films. It's just I happen to like The Devil's Rejects more. Based purely on the ending scene of The Devil's Rejects. If you haven't seen it, it's on, you can look it up on YouTube. It's this really epic scene of, like, the gang, Captain Spaulding and everyone, driving along the open road, and then they come to a police blockade, and then Freebird starts playing, and then they just do a head-on charge, and it's just a really cool scene. Not only that, but, I mean, in Devil's Rejects you have the hell-bent, revenge-seeking police officer trying to kill them and get his revenge, and all in all, it's just a really good film. Number 7, this is actually the first time I'm starting to count with my hands, but 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 7, is Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think it's kind of funny because I think there are 7 Nightmare on Elm Street films made, but that wasn't the point. Nightmare on Elm Street was my introduction to horror films. Most people it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Exorcist. Mine just happened to be Nightmare on Elm Street, and I still remember being haunted as a kid by the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you thing. Yeah, still brings back some bad memories, but it was a really good film. In terms of story, it's pretty awesome. I mean, a guy comes to kill people in their dreams because he was brutally burned alive and murdered. Now, as for me going to go see the remake, I'm going to go see it just because I hope that, God, what was his name? I think it was John Bayer? I think it's John Bayer. It's Michael Bay's friend, but I think it's John Bayer. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. He's remaking it, and so far it looks okay. I mean, at first I was a little skeptical because of the whole explosion in the first trailer, and I'm just thinking, oh god, if Michael Bay is producing this, he must be telling the guy to put in a crap ton of explosions. But yes, I really enjoyed Nightmare on Elm Street. The original films, when it comes to Freddy vs. Jason and all those subsequent crappy movies, not so much. Freddy vs. Jason was much more of a comedy than it was a horror film. Number 6, this is a personal favorite for Tegan, and I just actually happen to love the movie as well. Legally Blonde. What is there to not love about this movie? Is it Kirsten Dunst? I can never remember the actors for movies, so my apologies if I start going off on a tangent about Reese Witherspoon. Okay, yeah, I was about to say, like, why am I saying Kirsten Dunst? Reese Witherspoon does a really good job in this film, playing Elle Woods and just continuing on this little adventure into law school. I mean, like I said, what is there to not love about that movie? I could watch this movie 100 times and not get sick of it. I've actually only seen it like 8, but I would definitely watch it more if I could. I mean, not if I could, but if I had the time. It really is just this hilarious movie. Bend and snap. Best part of the movie, really. That or when she gets back the dog from the dude in the trailer park. But either way, still a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, and I don't know why you wouldn't have seen it because it's so hilarious and awesome and people are still talking about it, which is actually quite insane because it was made in 2001. Yeah. And also, for those of you who don't know, it's also a Broadway musical. So definitely go watch it if you ever have the opportunity because from what I hear, it's really good. Okay, so now we're in the top 5. In spot number 5 is the Saw movie. Not the subsequent crappy torture porn things. The original Saw. The original Saw was a very shocking and demented storyline, or demented movie. Had a very awesome storyline, and then as they continued on with the sequels, they sort of got rid of the storyline in place for more shock and gore. So in that respect, the Saw series as a horror movie series sucks. But in terms of movies, the first Saw movie was a revolutionary movie, I feel. I mean, there have been a bunch of other torture films. I mean, there was Candyman, Leprechaun, and stuff like that. But Saw really put it into its own league. And ever since then, it's just been a great movie. I still go watch the sequels, despite knowing they're gonna suck. Just because I have a little glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, the new one won't suck. And every time I'm disappointed, but it's something I've learned to cope with, and continue on hoping. Number 4 is a movie I saw in my philosophy class. I had never seen it before, but ever since I saw it, I fell in love with it. The movie is I Heart Huckabees. It's a very great commentary on existentialism, and it's just a really funny, witty, clever movie. I mean, there's not much else I can say about it. If I owned it, I would probably watch it every day. That's how good it is, and that's only number 4. So you can only imagine how much I love the other movies coming up after. Number 3. Oh, number 3. Number 3 is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, 3. Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show is 3. You would figure that would be 1 for me, but, no. But yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show is just this awesome musical, and it was also, for its time, very groundbreaking. I mean, this is back in the 70s, and it sort of foreshadowed the break into sexual freedom the media took. And this was sort of the beginning with songs like Touch Me, Sweet Transvestite. Really, how can you not expect it? And then everyone's favorite song, The Time Warp, which I still want to try and do at my school, just get a school-wide time warp dance going on. That, or like I said, at Times Square, that would be awesome. Number 2. Number 2 is Donnie Darko. I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually seen Donnie Darko, but it is a very dark but intriguing film. It follows the life of this very depressed kid who meets Frank the bunny. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, but if you've seen the movie, you understand that Frank the bunny is extremely creepy. Yeah. But the movie itself is just really good. I mean, I know I've said that about all of them, but Donnie Darko is superb in its storytelling and its plot, because honestly, when I first saw it, I didn't know where the plot was going, and after I finished the movie, I had to sit down and think about the plot and be like, okay, so this happened, then this happened, then okay. So, I mean, and I love movies that make me think, so generally speaking, that's a good thing if a movie makes you think it's doing its job. But yeah, I just enjoy Donnie Darko for that reason, because it really makes you think about, like, concepts like life and death and what comes after and stuff like that. And it's really fun to think about that sometimes, but really depressing at the same time. If you've ever had those nights where you just can't stop thinking about it, but anyway, that's the sense of the point. Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal do an amazing job in this movie. This is Jake Gyllenhaal's first film, I believe, so, well, if not first film, then first leading role. But he really does an amazing job in this film, so, yeah, definitely should watch it. I just thought of a movie that should be on this list. Oh well. And then, number 1 is my all-time favorite movie of all time, and actually, all-time favorite movie of all time, that makes no sense, but whatever. My all-time favorite movie is, here at number 1, uno, for those of you speaking Spanish, and number 1 is 500 Days of Summer. This movie, I mean, I could literally spend a whole video talking about this movie. I'm sure I've made a reference to it before, but it is just a very clever, very witty, very smart, very loving, very laughable, very sad film. I mean, you go through a huge range of emotions in this film, and it's just amazing. I mean, I went from crying to laughing to crying to being just amazed by how well this film is. It makes tons of obscure references. I mean, what movie has the Smiths on their soundtrack? I mean, that alone earned it some cool points, really, from me. But yeah, so Zoe Deschanel does an amazing job, as does Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the two main characters of the film. They really have a lot of on-screen chemistry, and it's just amazing because it works out really well. So for those of you who haven't seen it, literally, stop the video now. Go to your local Blockbuster and rent it. So you should be stopping now. Okay, so are you guys gone? Those of you who haven't seen the movie? Yes? Okay, good. For those of you who have seen the movie, I'm sure you can agree with me that it's probably one of the best films made in this decade thus far. I cannot think of another movie like maybe The Pianist, and yes, it's pronounced Pianist, would be close, but really, this movie is just amazing. So yeah, question for you guys. What are your top 5 movies from the past, let's make it 10 years, since I'm kinda curious. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.